All right, folks, we're gonna go straight to it. No intro on this one. So this is my beginner routine. We got 3 workouts here. I would recommend you start each one of these workouts just on the treadmill. Go for a 5-minute walk. If you wanna get up to a light jog, that's okay. But again, the most important part with warming up is literally warming up. So what you're looking for here is to make sure you are starting to break a sweat. Once you start to break a sweat, time to go ahead and move on. I would also recommend doing 1, maybe 2 warm-up sets of the exercise that you are doing. So our first program, we've got the pull down and the goblet squat will be up next. So you see me using an underhand grip. For a beginner, I would recommend either going underhand grip or neutral grip, using those V-bars for a neutral grip. Reason being is your lats will be in a stronger position, and also you'll get a little bit more bicep this way than you will with an overhand grip. Go right at shoulder width, that'll make the range of motion at your shoulder longer, so we can get a longer range of motion for our lats. And this is gonna train your lats with a little bit of bicep included. So make sure you bring your dumbbell on over to the pull down machine. Also, all these exercises, workouts, the routine as a whole is meant to be done quickly. So we want to knock out 2 exercises back to back. This will let you get in and out of the gym very quickly at about probably take you 20 minutes to do all this. Goblet squat, hold with a neutral grip. Make sure the dumbbell is set pretty deeply into your palm and you're looking to hit parallel depth. Play around with your squat as a beginner. A lot of people assume they need to have a narrow stance or they assume that their toes need to be pointed forward. Just experiment with how wide your stance is and the direction your toes are pointed until you find something that's comfortable. Moving on. Next up, we got the Romanian Deadlift and the seated overhead press. So on a Romanian deadlift, we're using a couple of dumbbells. What you're looking for on this exercise is to feel a stretch through your hamstrings. So shoot your hips back, make sure you keep your back flat. Your knees should be mostly extended, not totally extended. And when you feel the stretch through your hamstrings, that's when it's time to come on back up. The range of motion will vary quite a bit from person to person. And usually ladies can go way lower on this exercise than guys can. But again, the way to know where you're hitting the proper range of motion is when you feel that stretch through the hamstrings. And this exercise will train your hamstrings, your glutes, and your lower back. And then we're moving on, seated overhead press. Again, each group of exercises is meant to be done back to back so you can get in the gym and out of the gym more quickly. You want a 45-degree angle between your torso and your upper arm. So we don't want to be all the way elbows pointed out or elbows all the way in either. You want to be between those two. Make sure to get your elbows mostly extended at the top. And then you want to go low enough for the dumbbells to get very close to touching your shoulder or gently tap your shoulder. That's workout 1 done. Yes, it's short, sweet, simple. But as I've talked about in other videos, beginners can look at dumbbells and start building muscle. It's very easy in the early days to start building muscle, so you don't need a whole lot. Workout number 2, we're starting with the dumbbell bench press. Pull your shoulder blades back real hard, dig them into the bench, and point your ribs up. Have a little bit of an arch. You might have seen some more extreme arches. Those are for powerlifting purposes. But so your shoulders are in a more stable position, you absolutely want to make sure you have your shoulders pulled all the way back. So we're doing this on an adjustable bench. You should use one as well. Move your bench on up, and then we're going to hit our upper back, our rear delts. So of course, dumbbell bench press hits the pecs, anterior delts, front shoulder, and a little bit of tricep. This move will hit the posterior delt, your mid and lower traps. Overhand grip I'm using here, you can use a neutral grip, either one works just fine. And imagine you have a pencil between your shoulder blades and try to squeeze that pencil on each rep. Next up, we got the leg extension and the lateral raise. Now most gyms will have a leg extension machine. So you want that pad right on your ankles. You want to fully extend until you feel a contraction, and then go as low as you can without the plates touching back down. We're trying to keep constant tension on the quadriceps and use those handles to keep yourself pulled down in the seat. Especially as the weights get heavier, what can start to happen is you'll be pulled up off of the seat. And bring your 2 dumbbells over with you to the leg extension machine, and we're gonna go straight into a lateral raise. Now the lateral raise I don't think is the best lateral delt exercise, but again, for a beginner, it's totally fine. Make sure you avoid any bouncing up and down. And by the way, I believe every single exercise I'm doing here has a form guide on the channel, so make sure to check those out. I'll put those up in the corner right now. You want your upper arm to get to parallel with the ground before going back down. Moving on, day 3, our last workout, incline curl first. You want a little bit higher than a 45-degree angle. Make sure you keep your upper arm pinned all the way back. You don't want to let your upper arm start raising forward, because then your anterior delt is going to start doing the work. You want to fully flex the elbow and make sure to fully extend the elbow as well. The bottom portion of this movement is the most important part, because that's where the bicep is in a stretched or lengthened position. And then we're gonna lay down our adjustable bench, and we're going into a skull crusher. So of course the incline curl will train your biceps, and the skull crusher will train your triceps. So maintain a neutral grip. Do the same thing where you pull your shoulder blades back and dig them into the bench. I like to bring the dumbbells all the way until they get very close to touching the bench, and then extending back up toward the ceiling. All right, moving on. Last 2 exercises in this routine. First, we've got the calf raise. Now, I'm doing this in a Smith machine because this gym does not have a calf raise machine. If your gym has a calf raise machine, use that instead, definitely. You can also throw a plate underneath your toes to extend the range of motion. I just didn't for this video, but if you want to get a longer range of motion for your calves, definitely do that. We're re-racking, and then we're gonna go straight down to the ground for a plank. Now the plank is a great ab exercise. It trains you to essentially not move. Most of your muscles are responsible for dynamic movement. The abs are as well, but they are also anti-movement. They're meant to keep your spine in a safe position. So training your abs via moves like this, static holds, makes more sense. Using static holds for other muscles really doesn't. And that's it, folks. Thank you for listening and watching. As always, I hope that routine helps. It will also be down in the description down below. Check us out on MuscleWiki.com. I'm Coach Ty with MuscleWiki, and I will see you with the next one. Deuces.